Well, we might be on board with what's going on with the left side of the infield with Durbin and Ortiz, but are the Brewers, are they thinking of replacing one or both of those guys in the starting infield? We'll get to that and a whole lot more on this edition of Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Caleb Durbin, Sigler, Ortiz. Well, we might like a couple of those guys or all three of those guys, but does the Brewer front office really like them? We'll get to that coming up here in a little bit. And the Brewers finish off a 5-1 West Coast road trip, 2 playoff teams, the Dodgers and the Mariners. They have a very, very successful and at times a dominating road trip. We'll get to that coming up here in a little bit. Who is going to be DFA'd by the Brewers once these guys come off the injured list and come off their rehabs? Some of these guys are rehab and they're close to coming back. Who gets DFA'd? That's going to be a tough, good one to answer. We'll get to that one coming up here a little bit. We'll also talk about the upcoming Miami series. Good to have you along. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Brewers coming up at home on Friday night. We're going to get to that series as the Brewers do celebrate the 25th anniversary of Miller Park / AmFam Field. But we'll start off talking about the trades here. And yeah, I've been saying here on the podcast, maybe the Brewers shouldn't reinvent the wheel. And while the going is good, keep it going. Keep it going. I may say that. You may say that. The fan base may say that. But as Jim Bowden said, the general manager and the front office might think differently. They feel maybe they need to upgrade at those positions. With Ortiz, I mean, I like what he's doing lately offensively. Durbin, well, he didn't play. He did not start Wednesday, and Ziegler was over there. But there's not a lot of power coming over there. Production lately has been there from both positions, but the defense has been strong. But would the Brewers be willing to replace one or both of those guys? Does Matt Arnold look at this team and say, you know, I like Caleb Durbin. He's got a future with us. But right now, we're trying to win a World Series. There are many people who feel the Brewers have the pitching to win a World Series. The pitching looks outstanding. As we all know, it is championship caliber. And that feels weird to say about the Milwaukee Brewers championship anything, but I'm talking world championship caliber pitching, the Milwaukee Brewers. They showed it again on Wednesday. But can their offense stack up and win games? What have we seen here in the postseason in recent years? Not enough offense, good pitching, not enough offense, and therefore the Brewers bow out. Yeah, they lost that game when Devin to the Mets last year in the deciding Game 3, when Devin Williams gave up the home run to Alonso, but the Brewers could have scored more runs in that game. And then the previous year when they got beat by Arizona, and Burns didn't have a great outing, but the Brewers should have scored some more runs. They didn't score enough runs. They scored some early, and that was it. But offense, do we feel comfortable that this team can be productive offensively in the postseason? Now, I think part of that is, when do you hit your stride? The Brewers right now are playing some great baseball. You would love to can this up and save it for October, right? Of course, that's just not the way things work. The Brewers right now, if you saw their offense on Wednesday, death by 1,000 paper cuts, 17 hits, 14 singles, no home runs, and they win handily 10-2 over Seattle. Or as Murphy's calling them, the fighting woodpeckers. They just peck at you. They just, from every which way. I'm going to get to that here in a little bit about the offense. But, I guess what I'm saying here is with the offense, do they need a bigger bat in that lineup? Do they need a home run threat in that lineup? Suarez, certainly at third base, gives them that type of threat. And certainly the Brewers have enough ammunition, if they wanted to get Suarez away from Arizona. Arizona right now is looking for controllable pitching. Controllable pitching. Pitchers who are under contract for the foreseeable future, good pitchers. And when I see Tobias Myers getting in that game on Wednesday, and he hasn't pitched since July 11th, and Murph after the game said some nice things about him. Myers is throwing 97. He got to 97. When I saw Myers pitch in that game, and not only did they want to get him some work, they could have been showcasing him as well. They could have been, the Brewers could have been showcasing Tobias Myers. And what that means is, you put a guy out there for other teams to look at and say, hey, look at this guy. Once you want to have him on your team, controllable piece, that's exactly what Arizona is looking for. This is this, you're in the, and I think most Brewers fans are feeling like they need better out of third and short. Now, I know we all love Caleb Durbin and Ortiz, and I like both of those guys as well. As I said, I've done a 180 on Durbin. His future, I think, is really at second base. Ortiz, I like the way he plays. I mean, defensively, he's just amazing. I don't know if I can live with 211, though, at shortstop. Can I win a World Series that way? Because this is what we're in for. We're not in for the summer of Mark Attanasio fun, where we're trying to just, have a nice summer day at AmFam Field, stuff a few hot dogs down our throat, and then get on the shuttle and get back home to the suburbs or the city or wherever you live. We're trying to win a World Series. That's what I'm. I mean, I've fun at the ballpark. I love going to the games, but crying out loud, Brewers haven't won a playoff series since 2018. And if they feel, I trust in Matt Arnold. I trust in Matt Arnold. If he wants to upgrade this team with a power bat, even though I like what I have at short and third, but you look at the numbers with Durbin and Ziegler, Durbin and Ortiz, it's not great. The overall production offensively is not great. You're not going to get a lot of home runs from Durbin. You're going to get some good pull contact from him. Ortiz, he put a couple of bleeders to the right side of the infield today. And he's going to get everything at shortstop. He's going to save your runs that way. Interesting. But just listening to some guys today, some insiders, including Jim Bowden, saying that the Brewers are very active. What we feel about the Brewers and what the Brewers front office feels about them are two different things. We may like a certain pitcher or a certain player in their organization and think, God, this guy's great. Like, for instance, I'll say Tobias Myers. We all loved Tobias Myers last year, right? MVP, pitching MVP of this team. But the Brewers may be thinking, I'm just saying hypothetically, they might think, well, we can depart with him. We don't see a future for Tobias Myers on this team. And that would be a trade piece. They wouldn't tell the other teams. They wouldn't tell the media, obviously. They're propping him up, just like the Yankees propped up Caleb Durbin in the offseason. So that's the way that works. But it sounds like the Brewers are really looking for left side of the infield help and productive guys. There's two guys who are coming to town this weekend, young players, Otto Lopez, Xavier Edwards, middle infielders for the Marlins. But if I'm going to take a swing at anybody, if I'm going to go for it, it's Suarez. It is Suarez. That's the guy who I want if we're going to go after anybody. That's the guy. You're battling Cincinnati. I don't know why the Reds are interested in him again, but they are. Reds are out of this thing. But the Reds somehow are interested in Suarez. I don't get it. The Yankees, of course, the Yankees are going to have their hands in everything. The Mariners are interested. And, of course, the team to the south of us, the Chicago Cubs, also interested in Suarez. I don't know. We'll see. Trading deadline a week away. Is this going to go right down to the end? There was a time a few years ago where you'd see teams make these trades weeks before, like before the All-Star break, like even pitchers, so they can get, like the Brewers traded for CC Sabathia in 2008, well before the trading deadline, because they wanted to be able to use him a couple of times before the All-Star, after the All-Star break and when the All-Star break started. They wanted to use him as much as possible. So no trades have dropped yet in baseball. Nothing earth-shattering, at least. but maybe we'll see something happen this weekend. Are some of these teams still holding out hope? Like the Padres, who got beat by the Marlins on Wednesday? Are some of these teams just thinking, too, hey, we can't catch the Dodgers, so maybe we should become sellers if we're going to compete for a wild card spot? Every organization has a different philosophy. The Brewers, we'll soon find out within a week if they are all in and what their philosophy is. If they feel they have enough right here. I have a feeling if they don't make a move, fans are going to be upset. If the Brewers do not make a move and swing a big axe on this thing, fans are going to be upset. On the other hand, like I said, you want to ruin a good thing right now? This team has won 13 of its last 15. They've won 8 of their last 9 series. 2 hits and lost on Tuesday, 1-0. They come back with 17 hits on Wednesday. 14 of those were singles. Murphy says the fighting woodpeckers. We'll talk about that coming up next. We'll talk about that. We're going to get to another outstanding pitching performance. And who is going to get DFA'd by the Brewers? You got to clear a roster spot, right? Or 2 or 3 when these guys get healthy. We'll get to that next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Gameday Hue. You got a hat, got a golf club from them. Brewers colors. Gameday Hue makes clean, no logo gear with team-inspired colors for every pro and college base. The Brewer yellow and blue colors. They make batting gloves with those colors. God forbid you're a Cubs fan, and we're going to get to you Cubs fans coming up here in a little bit. You guys are nasty. Red, blue, whatever. You could rock their gear or Brewers fans gear or a Brewer gear, Reds gear, whatever you want. Badger gear, Bucks gear, Packers gear, all right there with Gameday Hue. Right now, you get 15% off with the promo code MLB15 at GamedayHue.com. Check it out. GamedayHue.com. The code even stacks on bundle deals. So right now, time to load up. Let the colors do your talking. They make gear with your team's colors in it. GamedayHue.com. Use that promo code MLB15 and you will get a discount. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Good to have you along here on a Thursday morning. Fired up. The Brewers moved their record to 61-41. Back on top is the best team in Major League Baseball. And of course, moved ahead against in the first place all by themselves. They were in a tie with the Cubs, and the Cubs got beat. Cubs kind of showed a gutless effort against the Royals today. Meanwhile, the Brewers were just going out there and being the fighting woodpeckers that they are, that Murphy coined them as, and getting the W. The Brewers just winning game after game after game after game and going on this run. And, they've won 39 or less, 55 or something like that. I mean, this is what it's like to be a Yankees fan. This is what it's like to be a Dodgers fan when they're going good. Red Sox fan when they were going good, where you show up to the ballpark, you turn the TV on, and your team is going to win every game. This is what it must be like to be successful in June and July. We haven't had a lot of that, not to this tune of being 20 games over the 500 mark in July. There's not a big history of that. Or being the best record, having the best record in Major League Baseball. The Brewers have never had that, unless you want to count 1982. That was 43 years ago. But here we are. This is what it's like to be the big markets and the small markets. Small market Brewers getting it done behind Quinn Priester. Just another great start. How about this? Again, add him to the unsung hero list with Ashby and DL Hall. Priester goes 7 innings, 96 pitches, allowed 6 hits. Just was great. And then we saw Tobias Myers coming in just to suck up some innings, 97-mile-an-hour gas there. He's been it was his first appearance. He hadn't pitched since he was recalled back on July 11th, but they got him in there, and got the rust off, and he looked like he was ready to go. This Brewers team will never be confused with Bambi's Bombers or Harvey's Bangers, but they're a fun team to watch. I don't think you have to be one of those teams, to me, that goes out and hits 6 home runs in the game. Sure, that's fun and all that, but this kind of ball, ABC baseball, getting guys over, getting them in, taking advantage of mistakes, stealing bases, moving guys around, sacrifice flies. I love that, man. Nickel and diamond teams to death. The fighting woodpeckers. It's like little bleeders through the infield and this way and little lobs out to right field. It's fun to watch, man. I mean, this is one of the more fun teams to watch in Brewers history. This run they're on. I mean, how can you argue with their success? Now, can they sustain the success? That's the $1 million question. That's always the $1 million question here in Wisconsin. But the Brewers haven't had this type of success at this point of the season since 1982, where they're the best team in Major League Baseball. But it's fun. I mean, each and every game, they're going out there. And it's like on Wednesday, they got off to a 2-0 lead. Seattle came back, tied it at 2. And then the Brewers just boat raced them. Just boat raced them. Curio, 17-game hitting streak. Yelich, who tried to bunt for a base hit. Now, I don't have any problem with that. Catch the defense by surprise there. There was a guy in third. And I know a guy in third, maybe you should be swinging away for Yelich, but I don't know. He was trying to catch it, and he almost pulled it off. Almost pulled it off. So I was okay with that, but he has reached pace 29 straight games. Tyler Black gets into the game, lines a double to right. Ziegler had 2 hits. It's like everything the Brewers are doing right now are gold. Everything they're doing. And you know what? Somebody tweeted at me that I was talking big things about the Brewers and said, threatened me about jinxing the team. You know what, guys? Don't believe in that. That kind of talk, jinx talk, that's loser talk. It really is. I don't believe in that jinx talk at all. I think that's loser talk. We have no control over that stuff. The jinx stuff and all that. We got to stop saying that stuff. Not at all. Because if I would have jinxed the team talking big about the Brewers, well, I've been talking about them good things in the last 2 months. And if I'm jinxing them, I'm reverse jinxing them because they've won like 80% of their games. So there is no jinx. We have no control of it. So don't think that you can put something on Twitter and then all of a sudden someone's going to come after you. And if they jinx you, just block them. Just drop them as a friend if you want. I mean, I hate that mentality. Oh, you jinxed them. I jinxed them. God, I wish I had that much power. All right. The Brewers have some players who are on the mend, but who is going to get DFA'd? I mean, this is amazing. I mean, the Brewers have so much talent right now. Who would have guessed we'd be talking this way? Maybe in spring training that it was going to be like this. We'll get to that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. And with Monarch Money, Monarch Money is going to tell you where you're spending your money, where you're wasting your money, like going out and eating. After golf today, went out and played some, after watching the Brewer game, went out and played a little twilight golf, and then went out and ate instead of coming home. But Monarch Money says, hey, you know what? You shouldn't be doing that because that is where your money is going to. It's laziness. Yes, Monarch Money tells you where you shouldn't be spending your money. Online spending, maybe going out to eat, going to the movies, whatever. Monarch Money tells you, so in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. You could take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Monarch Money will tell you how to manage your money and where your money is being spent. Then it's up to you to take action because they're going to tell you, and then you got to take action on what you want to do. But right now, 50% off their first year. Give it a try. monarchmoney.com, monarchmoney.com. Use that promo code LOCKEDONMLB. And you'll get 50% off your first year with Monarch Money. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. And by the way, our podcast, you get it on all the audio platforms out there. Man, our podcast has just increased over the summertime, our listenership. And it should, because the Milwaukee Brewers are playing great. And you know what? The Brewers are a statewide interest right now. You know, this isn't the 1995 Milwaukee Brewers. Some of these names are becoming household names with the Brewers, right? They are. More than just Christian Yelich and Prince Fielder and Ryan Braun, from days gone by. Speaking of the 25th anniversary of the Brewers, people are knowing your Caleb Durbins and Ortizes and Turangs and Freelicks and all these guys. Just got to keep this thing going. All right, Nestor Cortez. He's had 2 rehab starts. Looks like he's going to be coming back next week. What are you going to do? Where do you stick Cortez? I think they deal him because he's not replacing anybody in that starting rotation unless there's an injury, right? Brewers have a week right here. We'll see what they do. But Cortez is going to be staying down in the minor leagues. He's not going to be rehabbing down. I mean, he's done. He's ready to go. He's rehabbed and in Appleton, and he's done it in Nashville. He's made 2 rehab starts, and he's ready to pitch. So Cortez is going to be back next week. We'll see what happens. What do you do? When Robbie Z comes off the injured list, he's rehabbing. What do you do? Gasser is due back. A year ago, we were wondering, God, Gasser will be back in August. That'll be great. It'll be like acquiring a pitcher. Well, the Brewers got Mizorowski, and they got Brandon Woodruff. You ain't replacing those guys with Robert Gasser. Does Perkins get sent down? Perkins could start on many teams in baseball. Gold glove type center fielder. Perkins might not be on this team. He might be down in Nashville. In addition to some of those other guys that are down in Nashville. What happens? Cortez gets at it. Maybe Tobias Myers gets sent down, or do they deal Tobias Myers for some offense? A lot of possibilities. The Brewers have so many assets right now. It's a good problem to have, obviously. It's a great problem to have. The assets that they have, both pitching in the minor, they're pitching assets. Small market baseball teams aren't supposed to have this type of pitching assets. And the Brewers have that. They have that type of assets. Now, have they been lacking at some of the other positions down in the minor league system? You bet. But organization-wise, pitching-wise, has been terrific. Every year we're looking for our first baseman, right? Brewers have drafted a few in recent years. But pitching, God, there are teams who would just absolutely love to have the pitching that the Brewers have. And you know what? Credit that to Matt Arnold and his staff, because it seems like whatever button they push, it works. They call up Tyler Black. He contributes. Sigler, they pick him up. He's been a nice addition. He's done some nice things. Played some good defense over there at third base as well. Quintana in the offseason. Well, in spring training, they got him. The Durbin pickup looks to be a nice pickup as well. Arnold and his staff, they have just done an amazing job so far with this team. But as we always say, this is fun. This is great. 20 above 500 is great. But we got to do it in October. Certainly do. All right. Day off Thursday. 25th anniversary of AmFam Field, Miller Park. I kind of talked about it in yesterday's podcast. That's coming up on Friday. The Brewers have a rare Friday afternoon game because after the game, they're going to have a home run derby with all those veterans, Braun, Fielder, and you name it. They're all coming back. But as for the game itself, Brewers start a series with Miami. Miami is not terrible. Don't think that the Brewers are just going to roll over them. They could, the way the Brewers are, but the Marlins, even though they're sellers, they beat San Diego, as I mentioned. They beat them on Wednesday 3-2. Alcantara, will miss him in the series. He pitched on Wednesday. He's going to be one of these guys that the Marlins are showcasing, but he's not pitching in the series, so we're going to miss him. But the Marlins are playing some good ball. by their standards, considering, that everything that works against the Miami Marlins for all these years. Cal Quantrill will go Friday against Peralta. Saturday, Quintana goes for the Brewers against Jansen Junk, the former Brewer. And Woodruff, which on Sunday against Yuri Perez. As always say with the Milwaukee Brewers, if they can take 2 of 3, I'll be good with it. Love to have a sweep, but it is how it always is that even those teams that are mediocre, like the Marlins, are capable of rising up and winning ball games like they did against San Diego on Wednesday. Wow. What a great run this is for the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, you almost don't want the day off on Thursday because you want to keep this train moving. I'm itching to get at that mic every day, talking Brewers baseball with you. And by the way, you get our podcast, Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads. Go to our growing YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Please subscribe. All our content is all free. And by all means, hit me up on Twitter. Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND. You got a question? Hey, just DM me. Hit me up on Facebook. You got a question? I'll answer your question there. Those of you who've DM'd me and asked me questions about the Brewers and all that, I've always gotten back to you. I always will. That's my promise. I do get a lot of DMs, so it may not be right away, but I will get back to you. I will for sure get back to you. Always appreciate hearing where you guys are listening and where you guys are viewing the podcast from. Man, I'm hearing from Brewer Nation all over this country. And that's all over the world, actually, for that matter. Bangkok. A guy checked in from Bangkok the other day. That's amazing. Everybody, have yourself a great upcoming weekend as well. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.